All right. So I think the group has circled back in here. So we had a lively discussion. I think we had about 40 people in the room. We took some Slido polls, and so I should be able to grab those results as well for what people were interested in. The discussion was quite lively. Lots of people are talking about how to pursue reproducible benchmarking, how to test different components of our software stacks, how to do introspection and figure out where what caused performance differences in our benchmarks as we continuously run them. Let's see. So I think we are trying to basically stand up recurring meetings from here out. There's a handful of groups that are planning to share with us to start, how they are approaching things and where they see gaps. And the group will navigate from there on what we want to pursue in terms of what progress we want to make as a group. There was discussion on basically making the benchmark specification such that it's easier to hand over to colleagues, to hand over to people running on a different machine, to hand over to people running at a different data center. And there was also discussion on how to specify the software stack state, right, such that we can rerun benchmarks with that exact state. Or tweak one component of that at a time, maybe a version of a particular library, and see what the performance differences are in a more manageable way, so that we can actually understand what's going on and what's causing performance degradations or improvements, I suppose. It's good to know where those come from as well. I think that covers it. 40 people, yep. And we worked around the lack of the screen by setting up a Zoom session and staring at the screens. Well, we didn't have a projector. No one had a projector. So we weren't special in that, but we figured it out. Does that cover what you were looking for? Thank you. Thank you.
Zach, if you want to come up, you're welcome to as well. OK, so I'm talking on the kind of breakout report for the CI/CD working group that Zach and I lead. We were just over there. I didn't count how many people were in the room. We packed the largest room that we had. So I think it was really good turnout. The CI/CD working group is basically, we're bringing together all of these projects for HPSF, and we all are trying to make our software more sustainable. One key part of that is providing CI resources to allow people to automatically test their software on a number of different environments. Similarly to benchmarking, right, we want to be able to run and allow these projects access to systems that emulate the production hardware that you're going to end up running on, whether that's something like LCAP or Frontier. And so we have bi-weekly meetings that we've been running for a couple of months now. This is kind of a two-pronged approach. We both have a community of practice where all of these projects, SPAC has been doing CI for a long time. That's kind of where I come from. But we have members from Cocos, Trilinos, a number of the different projects all talking about, how did you solve the scaling problem, or how are you saving artifacts from your CI? So it's a bit of a networking event there. We're also building infrastructure to make this easier for these different projects. And so we're taking the SPAC GitLab that we have traditionally have. We're onboarding new projects to it, moving it over to kind of an HPSF GitLab. We're working on software. I'm working on a project called Hubcast, which is going to make it easier to bring in projects from GitHub into that GitLab environment and then report the status back to GitHub. And so this is going to allow really you to continue your work on GitHub like you've been doing, but now be able to bring in these niche accelerators, like MI300s, H100s, the stuff that GitHub is not going to natively give you. So we're really in a process right now of soliciting feedback as we build this infrastructure, and that's what we spent a long time in our working group meeting talking about, gathering, is it important for you to have exclusive access over a node so that while you're doing benchmarking or regression testing, you know that no one else is going to be interfering with your job? What accelerators are most interesting to you? Is it important that you run over multiple nodes, or is a single node enough? Because typically CI systems have been limited to a single node, but if we're building these out to look like Slurm clusters, there's no reason that we can't run over multiple different types of nodes. We've talked about dashboard instances like CDash and giving projects access to these systems so that they can upload more, I guess, detailed and more fine-grained results from their different jobs. So I'll let Zach talk a little bit more about.
Yeah, no, I think you did a great job covering it. Other things we discussed were really sort of best practices. So one question was, how much is too much, right? CI is super important. What if I have a job that takes all day to run? Like, am I being a resource hog? So at least for now, we think high frequency is good. You want to test every proposed change that's made to your code, but maybe save the expensive performance testing for like a nightly job. You mentioned the CDash stuff, and there was something else. Yeah, like Alex said, right now we're talking mostly single node testing. That is an area we're looking to expand, having a Slurm cluster hosted at the University of Oregon where you can have exclusive access and spin up multiple jobs for, again, more like MPI testing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I'll be reporting on the interoperability prospective working group. We had something between 25 and 30 people in the room. I think we bored a few. So one of the goals, so you've seen we've been onboarding a number of projects, and it keeps growing. And so what we were wondering is whether we want to potentially work towards kind of an HPC, a curated HPC. So there are projects to talk about curating a bunch of projects, but whether users could expect that when I see HPC projects from the foundation and see them on the shelf, they see Trilinos and Amrex, they should be able to use them together. And whether we want to work towards making it closer to reality. And so there are examples of interoperability that's already de facto there. So there are some of the projects depend on each other already, like Cocos is integrated in Viscores, in Trilinos. There is a history of most projects have been working with SPAC. To deploy. Most projects are also integrating in E4S. So there is existence of interoperability, but it's not enough if we want users to be able to write something like a new application that would use the Amrex framework and use the Trilinos solvers. There is some work that might need to be done so that we use efficiently the resources. So anyway, the report is there was some appetite in the room, and we recognize that we probably should work towards having the projects that I want to be able to be used together. We brought up some prior work under the Exascale computing work. Some things like XSDK that had some community policies, and that maybe we would need something similar to describe what the expectation might be for projects that want to, so optional, but to be able to play nice with the others. It was brought up that maybe we should even think whether we should give some sort of sub-badges that recognize that some of the projects play nice with the other. We brought up that, so right now we have a list of projects and what they do, but we should think about documenting somewhere what project can interoperate with the others and how you would go about using them. So at this point, what we know is that there are enough people that are interested. So we want to pursue it. And so what we're going to do is we're probably going to make sure that more people here can join Slack. I heard many people ask me, how do I join Slack? But we're going to create, for those who are interested and maybe didn't come, we're going to create a channel, which is going to be easy to find. It's going to be WG-interop or interoperability. And so we're going to keep the discussion on there, and we're going to try to find a few people who are motivated to help drafting what this working group mission is going to be. And then we'll take it, when we're ready, we will take it to the Technical Advisory Council, and we'll see if we can convince them that we have a coherent story, and hopefully we'll start our third working group.
Hi, everyone. So I'm going to report on our outreach committee breakout session that we just had. We went over what the outreach committee has been working on this past year. We launched a new website, hpsf.io. Please go visit. We've been continually adding new pages to it. We added a blog section where we can do posts about what's currently going on and different project spotlights, or when a project joins, a lot of things that we can highlight there. We also launched social media accounts. So we have a LinkedIn page. We have a new YouTube channel. We have a Blue Sky account. A lot of different ways to reach out to people who may not know about us yet, and bring them on board, help them join the community, and get out the word about what we're doing. We also talked about how the outreach committee has been preparing for events, deciding which events to participate in, and where we need to have a presence, and make sure that we're growing awareness and visibility about all of the great things that we're doing here. So this past year, we were at SC 24, so planning for SC 25 this year, those kinds of things. So the outreach committee is heavily involved in making sure we have a presence at where we need to have a presence, and then preparing what do we need to have on site, how can projects be represented. So it's a great opportunity for sharing about what you have going on. We also talked about other things that the outreach committee has done, like developing key messages. So some of these key messages appear on the website, for example, on our join page and how to get involved in HPSF. It also appears whenever we're at events and how people speak about HPSF and projects and those kinds of things. So key messaging is something that the committee has worked hard on, and I continue to see that as something that we'll focus on for the rest of 2025 as well, and potentially even looking at how projects and that messaging and how we bring new people in to join and what really resonates. Let's see here, what else? We talked about featuring the people of HPSF and how we can introduce one another and really feature and highlight each of us who are making this community, and who people can go to get involved as an entry point for joining us. And yeah, we have a lot of things going on. We meet bi-weekly on Thursdays. So if you're interested, it's open to all HPSF members. We'd love to have you join us. It's informal, it's a great opportunity for you to think about how you can feature what you're working on, your project, and think of different ways. Like, for example, I think we heard yesterday a lot of projects got some new logos. So we're working on designing new logos for those who want it, and then websites. And so there's just a lot of opportunity, a lot of possibilities. We share ideas. You're welcome to join us.
Hey, everybody. I'm Chris Clark. I think I've met about half of you at this point. Program manager at the Linux Foundation, and I help support the governing board and the TAC at HPSF. Let me work backwards. So I think once I'm done talking, we're done here, and you'll be on break until 3:50, at which point Julian will be moderating the community BOF. So come back here at 3:50 once I'm done here. I just had a brief, it wasn't a working group per se, but I just had an information session about prospective projects that might want to join the HPSF. Some of this content's already been covered here, so I'll be brief on that. Bill covered it yesterday in the TAC presentation, really. But in essence, there's sort of two parallel requirements you need to do to become an HPSF project. One is apply to the TAC, open an issue in GitHub, present to the TAC, and fulfill criteria to come in at one of the, the three life cycle stages. And then also, you need to fulfill some requirements from the Linux Foundation, which involves lawyers and can take some time, but it's not that onerous. But basic requirements are be an open source project under various open source licenses. Apache 2 is popular, but not required. And transfer over any trademarks that might exist to the LF. Copyright of the actual code still is maintained by the contributors, but trademarks in the actual project has to be transferred over to the LF. So those are the basic requirements. And we had a good talk. There's about 8 or 9 people, I think, in the room, and we, I answered questions for about 40 minutes. It seems like there's a decent amount of interest in new projects coming in. As of right now, let's see, I think we started with 9 projects, and now in the pipeline, like open issues and already approved projects, there's about 15 or so projects in HPSF right now. So we're seeing nice growth, and I expect that to continue. Hopefully this time next year, we'll have 20 projects and 20 paying members, and continue to go up and to the right. So yeah, if anyone has any questions about that process, I mean, you can just open an issue in GitHub on the TAC repository and kick things off there, or shoot one of us an email, reach out to the governing board, find me here, and we can answer any questions you might have about that. Any questions about that? Cool. The last thing I wanted to mention, because I don't think anyone's brought it up so far, is that last week, Riken joined, effective Thursday, as a general member. Welcome, Riken. Really glad to have you here. And that's exciting for a couple of reasons. One, it's some geographic diversity. Really happy to have Japan involved in all this. But also, if you look at our charter, this is going to trigger a second general member representative to the governing board and a second TAC representative to the governing board. So next governing board meeting will be on June 20th. And between now and then, we'll have elections for both a TAC rep and a general member rep, in addition to Julian and Damien, respectively. So we haven't set the dates for that, but that'll be coming in coming weeks. So just wanted to let everyone know that that's coming, and that's exciting. So we'll increase the governing board by 2 very soon. That's it. Enjoy your break. Come back here at 3:50. Thanks all.